Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to today's video, and if you're going to be league starting Venom Gyre, this is probably going to be one of the most important videos you can ever watch in your life. Maybe not, but it's got to be up there. But I'm going to teach you how to transition to Venom Gyre from Poisonous Concoction. I get this question a lot in chat. How do you transition from Poisonous Concoction to Venom Gyre? And how do you actually do all the regrets? And what do you actually need to look out for? And what does it actually look like? Well, in terms of what it actually looks like, I got bullied by people in chat. Or not really bullied, but they kept telling me to swap. And I told them I just needed a few more levels. Just give me a little bit more. I'm in a level 72 T5 map. I'm just vibing along. Pretty much destroying everything with Poisonous Concoction. It's not exactly the fastest, but it's getting the job done. But people kept telling me to swap, and they told me to swap. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll get to level 68, and then I'm going to swap. And then something really bad happened. I forgot to level up some of my gems. I actually just forgot. I didn't read this guide that someone wrote. I didn't read what gems to buy because I was pretty much too into doing the campaign. So lo and behold, we turn over, and what do we have here? We have a person on 100% copium, not knowing what's wrong with the build. In fact, the person was so stupid that he even had precise technique spec'd in. Right, so let's see.
Oh, precise technique is fine with at this stage of the game, I think.
Yeah, precise technique is not fine. Precise technique makes it so you cannot crit.
What does precise technique do again?
And I was just trolling them. All right, I knew what precise technique does, so I respect precise technique and put it into somewhere.
I don't remember what precise technique on.
Now you want to see what happens when you don't have any, what's it called, any gem levels. This is what happened. You turn into Quinn. This is literally Quinn's 69 gameplay right now. Look at that. I'm surprised.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, you just can't do it without Sniper's Mark.
Oh yeah, I also didn't buy Sniper's Mark because I ran out of Alks. I didn't have Tornado. I didn't have Flame Wall.
Vol Gyre needs to carry. I mean, you would literally be fine if you had Sniper's Mark.
Now that's a little bit of copium. Would I be fine if I had Sniper's Mark and didn't have everything else? Well, who knows, right? So this is actually what it looks like if you're a Papega like me and try to swap too early. You spend literally a minute fighting the bosses. Now, had I known that it was swapped like that, I obviously knew that it was going to be like that. But you want to see what happens at the end of the run just 4 or 5 hours later and what the clear actually looks like. All right, let's go see. What does it actually look like once we finally get everything? And this is on a 4-link, mind you. And this clear on a T16 map. This is not T12, not T13, not T14, not even T15, right? This is a T16 map. All right, let's just go see how the clear actually looks. So this is a T16 map on a 4-link. I did do all of the Void Stones on a 4-link. You can check out my VOD from yesterday, and I will be releasing a full Venom Gyre leveling guide. So at this point of the build, I think this is actually probably one of the fastest 4-link builds in T16s that you could possibly play. And if you're wondering what it actually looks like on bosses, let's see. The vault bosses. So you can see the clear has got a lot better. And I did add in a little bit of tech where I bought Transcendence Flame Wall. So that's why my skill looks so cool. It's been around like $30, $40. But you know what they say. The more money you spend, the more damage you do. So like T16 boss on a 4-link, very, very good. If you have Vol Venom Gyre, the boss will probably already be dead. But 2 bosses and yeah. Very respectable and such a beautiful build. I can't really put into words to describe how beautiful this build actually looks. But yeah, very, very good clear. And let's see. Can we actually see a little bit more of the map clear just so people can know? Oh, let's see. What does it actually look like? Because I was actually just rushing Void Stones, right? Oh, I actually did a Pit of the Chimera even on a 4-link. And this is me doing the Void Stones. And let's see. After I finished Siri Exarch took quite a while, and I did the Infinite Hunger. So yeah, the full Void Stone run. I think it was done around 10 hours. Although I definitely wasted like an hour by just literally swapping too early. And swapping too early is what I want to prevent you from doing in today's video. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a look at what Venom Gyre actually looks like with absolutely no gear. And I will showcase the gear from the build right about now. So let's go see. So you might be wondering, how bad is the gear, right? Well, the gear in the video, this is what I used to do the Void Stones. You can see I have the Void Stone. So this is the claw. You can probably find a better claw within 10 or 20 minutes of starting maps, you get, and I'll tell you how to craft it. So this is the claw, right? Nothing special. This is the ring. It's okay. It has elemental damage of attacks. It has some accuracy. It has some flatlining damage. This is the helmet. We have 14 to 21 fire damage to attacks. That help. Wait, that's to spells? Oh my goodness. I thought it was to attacks the whole time, but some life res. The chest piece, we kind of, it's not really good. It's like 54 life, 10% spell suppress. Oh, we could have crafted a suffix mod. Oh my goodness. A La Hoopa Ball I found during the campaign. Another ring I anointed with beef during the campaign. I found this thing, 38 life. I crafted on some flat damage. The belt, I slammed the essence on it and I crafted on some res. Oh my goodness, what is this? This thing is 35 life, 35 in. Okay, I think I put a spite essence on it. I really needed a green, blue. And this pair of boots right here, just some life. Try res, that's my best piece. And movement speed. And here, I'm just using some flash. So, just for people who are like, are you really doing it with gear that bad? Let's put in a T15 real fast just to see how it looks. Just so you know, the video is not doctored or anything. Let's hope I don't die like all my other stuff. So, and that's just what it looks like, right? Very smooth. And this is all on that gear that you see. Nothing. And you will not find a build that has like that much better clear. And the rares, will it die fast? Yeah, it dies pretty fast. Even with 2 Arch Nemesis mods right there. So, I think there's a shrine there. But as you can see, with this gear, you can do T15, T16s with absolutely no problem at all and get the void stones that you need. Now, obviously, you won't be on a 4-link. This is a very extreme example, just so I don't get so many questions about how can I transition. And do I really need all that gear? So we will be leveling a Poisonous Concoction from level 12 into early maps. I did do this Exarch Eater Voidstone run in around 10 hours, but I did transition way too early. And it's mostly just because I forgot the gems to level up. So transition needs a lot of regrets. I'll show you how to regret it. And it does require you to do all of the regret story quests, and it does help out a lot. Now, the build pretty much popped off once we got all of the pieces together. I don't think you can really expect that much better from any build with a 4-link and T16s. You're just not going to get that level of clear. The boss damage for like Seismic and Cold Dot might be better, or it is going to be better, but you will outscale those builds pretty fast, and your clear will become much better. And this run was fully tested with no Withering Step, so you can see here, I'm not using Withering Step on left click, so everything you see simulated in this run and right there is all how it will be in 3.20, except it'll be easier in 3.20 because there'll be no Arch Nemesis and you'll have Venom Gyre. So when to transition, I tried to transition at level 68. I do think you can do it at level 68, but you have to remember to level up your gems, and I just had no currency to buy gems. Since this was a fresh SSF run, I had no alks, and I just couldn't buy Tornado, or I could buy Tornado. I couldn't buy the Mark on Hit, and I couldn't get Sniper's Mark and stuff like that. But I truly believe you can transition at 68. But in the end, it's like, why even do it that early? Why not just do it when you have a smooth transition? Because Poisonous Concoction is really just that strong. So I do recommend you probably transition around level 75. The main reason being is that these attack speed nodes will make the build feel a lot better. So getting this attack speed thing right here will help out a lot. You can also get these elemental damage things here. So you basically just want a little bit more damage nodes on a tree to provide that extra oomph when you actually transition. So that's why I recommend around 75, and you might get a few more regrets so you can fully respec all your points. Now, you want to make sure to buy all of the required skill gems for the build to have your links sorted out. You don't want to be like me. You don't want to be scrounging around. Do I have it out? Can I sell all of these uniques and try to buy these remaining gems? You want to make sure you have these gems leveled up. You have it in your offhand. You have it ready to go. You want to make sure you have Whirling Blaze, Flame Wall, Cast on Crit, Tornado. These are very important. They help with the shotgunning. They add a lot of flat damage. Cast when damage, take you want to have Molten Shell, Hydra Spear, really important too to applies the exposure. And you want Tornado as much as possible. You want to have as high of uptime on Tornado as possible. And for the links, you want Venom Gyre, Trinity, Nightblade, and Fork. Those are the 4 ones you will always want to be using. If we actually look at my build right now, I am really using Trinity, Nightblade, Fork, and Venom Gyre. For the 5th link, you have some options you can use. Added cold damage, you have really low flat damage on your build. And you can use Inspiration if you need some crit. I would usually recommend Inspiration. And I do think your transition will be infinitely smoother if you get a 5 link, you get an Imperial Claw of Essence, and you get some jewelry with flat elemental damage. Now, what auras will you'll be running? Now, this is an interesting question. Now, you should be running Wrath no matter what, unless you don't have the intelligence. And I was running Determination in my setup. Now, I did not run Determination for almost all of the run. I ran Wrath and Anger because it doesn't really matter when you die at the low 80s. You gain so much XP per level, and up till Reds, you don't really need that much armor. Like you don't have that much armor, but with the Flask up and everything in the setup, you have like 32% physical damage reduction. If you actually get a Gravicious Chestcraft, this should be enough to survive everything in the game up until Reds. And after Reds, and you don't have that much life, you turn on Determination, turn off Anger, run this instead, and that will be your end game setup, and you will have a lot more armor. And make sure to get some armor on your pieces of gear. So like armor, evasion are usually generally the best bases. Now, something else you could do for the setup is you want to run precision too. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have precision, and you want to just level it up enough so that your accuracy is at 100%. It's very important that your accuracy is at 100%. Because crit builds really rely on that. So let's say right here, crit and 100%, and it uses a little bit more mana. And you level it up until this is 100%. So that's how you deal with it. And if you have a lot more mana left over, it'll make the build feel easier to play. So that's what you do. I recommend running Anger and Wrath early on just because you don't really care about dying. And once you feel like you're dying too much, then you swap over to Determination. Could even swap over to Grace. Determination and Grace are both kind of interchangeable depending on what type of mitigation you want. Now you might be wondering how to regret this build. And the main thing is you want to focus on regretting the points that don't do anything. So if we look at the Act 9 to 10 tree right here, you can see what points don't actually do anything. This point right here, all these poison nodes don't do anything. These poison nodes don't really do anything. So you want to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Precise technique you need to regret. So you have 9 points right there. So we can just do it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? So we have 16. We have 20 total regrets from the thing. So then we want to do 17, 18, 19. And then we connect through the bottom here. And then we start 20, right? And then as you get regrets, you'll take off these points. So you have 1, 2. So then that's all you really need to do to regret, and then you'll be set, and then you can take off this one too right there, and that's how you pretty much regret the whole tree. So hopefully that helped everyone out to understand what you do. So you focus on the nodes that don't give you any damage for Trinity Venom Gyre, and then you go back to then you go back and put those points into the Venom Gyre respec. So you see you get the crit nodes, you want to get these nodes, you want to get this thing over here, and then you eventually want to get those things up there. So that's pretty much what you do for the respec, and eventually you want to regret this stuff in the middle. So you don't want to take these nodes, you want to just have the life nodes connecting. You don't want Primal Spirit, and then once you get like Onslaught on Kill Boots or something, or you use a Silver Flask, you can regret these. You save 4 more points, and you can put them into what the endgame tree will end up looking like, which is something like this variant, which actually does get a lot more suppression on the tree. So that's what I will recommend you do, and it's pretty simple if you just follow that methodology. You do have to do the respec quest. You get a total of 20 regrets overall, so there's pretty much a respec quest in every single act. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, Act 5, Act 6, Act 7, Act 8, Act 9, Act 10. Make sure to do this one, Foothills. It's kind of easy to forget it. The golden hand job. Just make sure you get the hand job from the Crypts level 2. It's a pretty good one. And then the bust you will usually do. So these are pretty much ones that you'll already get because you get the skill points already. And so the only ones you have to do extra Act 1, Act 2, and Act 9. And all these other ones you should be doing along the way in the campaign. Now, do I have any tips for early gearing? And this is going to be very, very important because a lot of people don't really know how do you actually gear. And this run was done on SSF, right? So all of these things could be mitigated a lot if you just set up some live searches or use the trade site. So for the claw, you want to use some Scream plus essences for flat elemental damage, intelligence, attack speed, critical strike chance to roll on an Imperial Claw. And this actually helps out a lot. So you can pretty much guarantee, you just throw some essences on here. I actually crafted another claw after the run. So this is something I crafted with just the claw, and then you craft on pen. So this one I threw on, I think, a cold essence, and then you get attack speed, and then you get another flat LA damage, and there you go. You have your claw for a long time. So the Screaming Essences gets you flat damage on jewelry. Now jewelry damage is really important. So you can see here I actually crafted on jewelry damage, but you can also get 20 to 36 fire damage to attacks. And I think this one was also done through an essence. So you pretty much just use the essence to guarantee the damage mods that you want for your jewelry and claw. And those pieces of gear are the ones that actually provide the most damage. Now you can also craft on flat LA damage. So you can see here I crafted on flat LA damage. You can also craft on elemental damage of attacks, which also helps out vastly. Craft on more flat LA damage on your shield, and you can craft on pen, or you can craft on crit chance or attack speed on your claw. So make sure to utilize your crafting bench to fill out those damage pieces, and make sure to also buy a 5 link from the trade site. It really only costs like 8 chaos at League Star. You should not be on a 4 link. I pretty much just did this just to have a worst case scenario video so that people can see exactly how to do it with absolutely no gear at all. So this test scenario I ran was way worse than it could ever be in 3.20. You can also try to buy a corrupted 6 link. Probably costs around 30-40 chaos. If you get lucky with a divine, maybe consider trading it in for that. Set up live searches for your uniques. You can find tamings, you can find good claws, you can find a lot of stuff like Vol's Vision. You can maybe even find the Berserk gloves with the rage regeneration. Now, Gravicious craft on chest, like this Physis Ellie as fire and lightning and Physis fire on the helmet will save your life a lot of times on the mapping phase because it converts your Fizz damage, and we don't have that much Fizz mitigation at the start. And this will save you a lot of deaths. Make sure to set up your flask properly. If I was going to do anything, I was going to probably recommend a diamond flask, granite flask, quartz flask, and jade flask. You don't really need a quicksilver flask. It doesn't really do anything. When you play the game, you are literally using whirling blades to move around everywhere. So quicksilver flask is not really necessary, so don't be like me. And take the Claw Mastery that grants life and mana. There's a lot of people wondering, how do you actually get your mana back? And we take 2 Claw Masteries, and this Claw Mastery grants you attack damage, leech as life, and attack damage, leech as mana. And lastly, anoint your amulet. Don't be like me and use beef. If you can get any good anoints on, try to get, I think the good ones, the really good, cheap, efficient one is this one, Divine Judgment. 50% elemental damage, and it is pretty cheap oils overall. You just need a black oil, which should be like a chaos or 2. So just follow those rules and you'll be set. Now overall, very surprised how good Venom Gyre is on its 4 link when clearing T16s without using Withering Step and simulating for the nerf. And the skill does have incredible synergy as Deadeye and projectile scaling. A lot of people ask me about, what about Chaos Pathfinder Venom Gyre? I just don't see as much synergy there. I do think the build will work and is fun to play with the Plague Bearer, but this build will scale harder in the end game, and it'll probably be better when you reach yellow and red maps. Make sure you know how to name lock or you run into single target issues. I'm just going to show this real fast. So make sure you don't have always attack without moving checked. And then once you get to a mob, you can pretty much just hover over the mob and hold down Whirling Blade. So you'll see here, say like you get to this mob over here, and you'll see your character will just go back and forth between it. You hover over it and then hold down Whirling Blade. That makes it so that you can go back and forth on top of the mob, shotgunning the mob with Whirling Blades. Now the build will feel infinitely stronger when 3.20 launches, so if you do check out the VOD, I'll link the VOD down below of me doing the Void Stones. Everything will be easier. There'll be no Arch Nemesis. Arch Nemesis is really bad for builds that have all types of elemental damage because there's too much resist on the mobs. And Vol Venom Gyre will help out for a lot for bossing. You pretty much pop Vol Venom Gyre when you get to the boss and just Whirling Blades on top of it, and it should instantly die pretty much. But overall, I hope you play this build, and this video helps you out with transitioning from Poisonous Concoction to Venom Gyre. I do think that there's a lot of intricacies for transitioning, and I hope I was able to address most of it purely because I did the full run. Like most people, they recommend you a build guide. They don't do a full Void Stone run with the most Giga Scuff gear possible, doing the worst transition possible because they get trolled by your chat. So hopefully that helps you out. My pain is your gain, as they say. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any other questions. I will be putting out a Venom Gyre guide roughly later, probably a couple hours from now, and it'll go over more of the basics. But if you watch this video and you watch the leveling guide video, you should be pretty well versed in how to start this skill off at league start. But thanks for watching. I hope you find more mirrors, exalted orbs, and divines than me. And see you next time. Bye.